Handled you last time. What does your team need to do differently to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Well, when you watch it, you better play lower than them and they get down. You better know that they'll wedge you under the goal, or they'll, on blockouts, they're not afraid to bump and do stuff. But, their guard play, they run downhill, we run downhill. We're playing kind of similar in that, and Wiley's been playing great. He's rebounding offensively. In 7 against us last time, I think he has as many offensive rebounds as he has defense. So he's playing great. Dowdy's hurt us every time we played him, and the core's back, so they're full strength, and they're a good team.
What difference does a core make for them versus the 2 games they lost when he was out?
He gives them one more guy. He's a downhill runner, and he's an active rebounder. He can go left or right. It's not like he's just driving right. He's a talented length guy, and he's a good defender too.
John, after the game the other night, Emmanuel was saying that this team has a really good chemistry that started back in the summer, and Ashton just now was talking about that, about how they joke around with each other and go out to eat night before the game and stuff like that. Is this team a little different in that regards than any other team, or are they they have more chemistry than some of your other teams, or
I don't think
you
it's
have pretty
chemistry.
good
I don't know if
chemistry?
you're using a term that what you have is a bunch of guys that all the clutter that's around each of them, that the anxiety, whatever you want to call it, that's there, they're able to push it aside and really be happy for each other. That's a little bit unusual. Whether it's EJ or whoever, Johnny or Keon, whoever plays well, the other guys are ecstatic for him. And even in practice, when a guy's playing well, they'll tell him, that's who you are, man, go do that. So the one thing for a while, when we were still figuring this out, they weren't holding each other accountable. They wanted it all to be what I do. And I said, it can't be that way. You guys got to do some of this. But when you have that kind of relationship now, you can talk to each other on the other side, which is, they know they care about one another, and they know they want each other to play well, so if they say something, it has a different impact.
Cal, you don't strike me as a load management kind of coach, but Ashton's been beat up all season and played a lot of minutes and plays 100 miles an hour. Is there a window that you could or would rest him?
I don't know. I don't think so. But, I told him, if you don't, like he's turning it over, his decision making, there's a risk. I need him to be aggressive. I need him to attack. But there's a 80-20, 70-30 chance of success. Do it. 50-50, 60-40, don't do it. And that tells me maybe he's a little mentally tired. And so, my thing is that, how do we get this to where you're back to 1 or 2 turnovers a game and still getting your 7 assists, 6 assists? How do we do it? Is it step you off the court for a game and, let you have a couple days practice off and a game off and then come back fresh? I don't know. That's an option which I've talked to him about. So,
John, what do you think? You could win the league and clinch it. What does that mean in the big picture?
It means you won the league, I guess. Our whole thing is, how do we get the best seed we can get? And if that means win games, just keep winning so you have a good seed. That's the whole thing here. It's not conference tournament. I know people get mad when fans go there. It's almost an obligation because so many of them go to the tournament. But the whole point for me is that tournament, you're playing 3 games back to back to back. What does it really do? Well, if you got to win the games to get a good seed, win the games. But the reality of it is, our season is about building toward March, being prepared for every kind of team that we could play, building every player on your team, because you don't know who's got to step up in the game. We now have the 5 guys that have scored 25. Can we get a 6th? It would be nice to have one more, just so you know. Because you don't know what's going to happen in this thing. And that's the whole idea, is how do we advance? How do we give ourselves a chance?
John, we hear about Kentucky basketball family. I'm interested to know your reaction to Malik Monk and the situation with his suspension.
I haven't talked to him, so I don't know all the details. A little bit surprised, and feel bad for him. But a lot of times things happen for a reason, and it makes you square yourself away and makes yourself evaluate. And again, as I say this, I don't know any of the particulars, and I have not talked to him. But, I let his family know we're here for him if he needs us, or if they need us in any way. They know that we're here for him, so.
Anything else, guys?